This video is sponsored by myself and my merch store, Bricky Merch, down in the description, with such amazing products like the 3-year anniversary t-shirt and the Thick Thighs Save Lives in Latin crest tee, because we've all wanted to have that on a shirt, but we want to make sure that no one knows what it says. So I got you covered. You can go ahead and check it out in the description right now if you'd like to support me and the channel. Modern Warfare came out, and I gotta say, I want to Modern War commit many war crimes because of this one thing this game has. It's a lot of war crimes. The Geneva Convention has nothing on me. Spec Ops: The Line has taught me nothing. I've reached the current max rank of Modern Warfare, being 156, which is roughly around Prestige 3 or 4 in other Call of Duty games, but it's capped at the current moment. I've done pretty much every single rank progression challenge that hasn't bugged out, and posted at least one tweet of Smug Captain Price, so I'm pretty sure I know what I'm talking about here, boys. This review will primarily cover the multiplayer with a heavy emphasis on maps, progression, customization, maybe a little bit of Claymore talk, and a few other things. I will, however, discuss the campaign and Spec Ops very briefly before I proceed. The campaign is pretty great. Top 5 Call of Duty campaigns. It lacks character development and a very intriguing plot, but those are both acceptable as the gameplay and scenarios you are put in do the storytelling for you. The graphics are ridiculously good and blew me to hell and back Claymore style, and the missions are very intense and well structured, with the nighttime raid missions being absolute standouts.
Two X-rays down.
Copy. Make sure this floor's secure.
First floor secure.
On me.
A couple of callbacks to the older Modern Warfare games is cute too, and overall it's not a campaign breaking new ground, but it's probably the campaign COD fans really wanted. Also, it is rather dark, but not Cormac McCarthy's The Road dark. It's not as if I was questioning my existence and philosophical beliefs as an android with a fat ass. No, it's politically and realistically dark. There's suicide bombers, mass shootings, torture, and even a waterboarding minigame that I got the highest score in, Get Fucked Shroud. It's realistically dark, and that's probably its best selling point. It's less Mad Max and more Sicario, which works in its favor pretty greatly. Honestly, Infinity Ward, I want a randomly generated house raid game mode where you mix up the rooms and floors along with which rooms have civilians or not. The night raid missions are the best in the entire game, but they lose their excitement a little bit after the first time because you know what to do. A game mode like that with randomly generated stuff would be killer. So yeah, campaign isn't the best of the series, but it's definitely worth playing. Now let's talk about something quite the opposite. Spec Ops is really mediocre. It's a generally uninteresting mode of what feels like endlessly spawning enemies with no cover and very boring missions. It's also extremely difficult for no good reason and without challenge. MW2 and MW3 Spec Ops worked because they were short, self-contained little segments that you could press 2 buttons and restart if you didn't get the time you wanted. These feel drawn out and just like filler. If you're into co-op stuff, that's fine, but compared to Zombies, Extinction Mode, MW3 Survival, or even older Spec Ops modes, it just doesn't match up in the slightest. Meat, potatoes, pizza, some gum. Probably wondering what the hell that title meant. Well, Thanksgiving's coming up, and it's always nice to have some delicious meat and potatoes, the core of any Thanksgiving, along with turkey and stuffing. But then somebody brings a pizza. Now, it's a good pizza, but it feels a little bit out of place. Then your cousin Vinny puts his bowling shoes away and offers everyone some gum right before the meal. So you just wonder, what the hell is this? Gum isn't bad. Why is gum here? This very odd and drawn out analogy is the best way to describe Modern Warfare. In an effort to really expand the game, they added many new things and changed many old things. Some work very well, some don't. And people using double claymores shouldn't be allowed to reproduce. But let's discuss positive things. Everything weapon related. The design of your main tools of destruction look, feel, and sound great. The aesthetic of the game and handling for your weapons feels phenomenal. Everything from the reload sounds to the smoke coming from your barrel after emptying a mag, even to the animation when reloading a gun during ADS, the shell cartridges hitting the ground that make different noises depending on what size bullet you're firing. That is awesome. This also transfers to the customization. Having 50 attachments for every weapon really brings my inner tinkerer to life. Do I want to convert my AUG to 5.56 and make it like it was an MW2? Am I interested in buffing the accuracy of the MP5 but lowering my ADS time? Do I want to make my SCAR extremely small and nimble but have all the accuracy of Stevie Wonder playing darts? It doesn't really matter. Your options are there. Another positive is, of course, the graphics and sound for the ambience of the game. How explosions look and sound, how the guns feel, and also how enemies fire at you. The snap of bullets by your head is very crisp and very clear, and it's rare, unless playing ground war, that you don't know someone is shooting at you, or at least beginning to. Player feedback is mostly well done, and you know where grenades are coming from, you know when you've been hit, and all that stuff. Very solid. Also, crossplay. I cannot stress how wonderful it is to have input-based crossplay. Knowing that the game will not only live longer, but won't die on PC like many previous CODs have, and can probably be picked up later down the line, years later, and still have a population, that's godlike. That's the meat and potatoes, the good shit, the Thanksgiving stuff. Good, wholesome, wonderful stuff. Where did the pizza come from, god damn it? Well, originally, the pizza were the Claymores, the M4, the 725, but as I was writing the script, Infinity Ward put out a patch to nerf all those things. So now, I don't know if they're still OP as hell. However, I gotta say, the 725 still feels really goddamn strong, the M4 still feels like it's slaughtering me, and I'm still getting killed by consistent Claymores every single corner I turn around. Nerfed? Maybe. Am I still dying by them? You goddamn know I am. And I know for a fact you are too. Now, expecting COD to be balanced is like expecting COD fans to agree on being nice to each other, but I at least give props that they're doing better than before. Model 1887's reign supreme, one-man army, noob tubes never got fixed, that kind of stuff still is awful. So I'm glad that we're at least getting consistent patches, which is way better than we did back in the day. But I do want to make a statement. You should look at the MP5 with various mods. I want to spill the beans. But yeah, that MP5. That might be next on your list. Now, let's get into a more fun topic. Let's talk Claymores. I think the community doesn't like them a little bit, just the tiniest tad. But are Claymores overpowered? Yes. And I can share exactly why. So let's take a trip back to the OG COD games. They've been nerfed, these Claymores, and they might get nerfed again, and this video might be outdated, but I want to make this as a statement now so that if it ever happens again, you can look back on this and say, damn it, he knew what to do. Now, this is the wonderful land of COD 4. You see, in COD 4, Claymores were a blue perk. You got 2 of them. However, there was a perk to counter them. In fact, there were 2 perks. Bomb Squad, a blue perk that shows you the location of enemy explosives, and Juggernaut, a community-loved perk that gave you 25% increased health. However, it was taken by Sonic Boom, but nobody ever took that because stopping power existed. The thing is, in COD 4 and most other CODs, Claymores don't explode instantly and paint a red stain on the wall. They ticked, then exploded after around a second. So if you saw a Claymore, you could trip it, then walk back, and it wouldn't explode so long as it was behind a door or something. In fact, that was a major strategy in old S&D matches and was expected. So when an enemy Claymore would go off, that enemy would know someone was near the area they placed it in, even if it wouldn't kill them. It wasn't just used as a lethal, it was used as a way to know location. What I'm trying to say is you had 2 perks that could counter it, and there was a way to counterplay it even if you weren't running those perks, so long as you knew a Claymore was there. Now let's head over to one-man army ACR grenade launcher over here. What do we got? Well, Claymores are now in the grenade section, and you only get 1 unless you have Scavenger or OMA. Blast Shield, a lethal slot ability, will help you survive that Claymore. You could also trip it like in COD 4 and back away. And whoa, what is this? Scrambler Pro delays the detonation of Claymores, allowing you to run past them without being killed. Now I say that's pretty badass. MW3, also known as Trust Me Dad, a Juggernaut, is definitely a support streak, has Blast Shield for explosive resistance in the 2nd perk slot, and Stalker in the 3rd perk slot for delayed Claymore trips. Hell, let's even go to Infinite Warfare. Blast Shield in perk slot 1, engineered to delay them in perk slot 3. What's in Modern Warfare? We have EOD, which causes Claymore blasts to only nearly kill you instead of actually kill you. But Claymores go off immediately and in a blast radius that puts the Tsar bomb to shame. Do we have a delay perk? Nope, and if someone was dropped enough as a kid, they are probably using shrapnel too. So there are not only 2 Claymores, but it delays health regen as well. So if you happen to run EOD, survive the hit, you now get to wait an extended time to regen your health and pray someone doesn't breathe in your direction and get you killed. This all could be circumvented by a simple change. Delay the explosion time by a second. Keep the radius, or even maybe increase the radius by a slight amount, so they run past it, they'll still explode. But if you see those wires, you can walk into it and then walk backwards so that you can set it off and it not kill you, or at least have it damage you. Also, stun grenades, not a good counter. Wasting my single tactical that I'm forced to take isn't what I would call a good time. Claymores were powerful and have been powerful in pretty much every single Call of Duty. We don't need to buff them. Give them their counterplay, let them do what they need to do, and call it a damn day. Okay, the vendetta against Claymores is done. Let's move on to maps. Three-lane map bad. More lane, more window. This is what people were screaming for a while. Well, they got it, and I'm one Piccadilly game away from yeeting myself off of the bridge. I die. I spawn across the map from where I die. I run. I keep running. Oh Lord, you know for a fact I'm working off those carbs from that Popeye's chicken sandwich. Then I realize I can be shot from 40 windows, 2 alleyways, 3 trees, and Kevin Spacey in a manhole. No, sorry. Kevin Spacey in the boy hole. But no, I get shot from behind because I guess I thought I was safe. 3-lane map bad is the thing people say, but they don't understand that almost every single memorable and good map in Call of Duty is a 3-lane map. Crash, Strike, Kill House, Crossfire, Overgrown, Vacant, hell, even Shipment, Afghan, Favela, High Rise, Scrapyard, Terminal, Nuketown, Firing Range, Summit, Stadium, Raid, Hijack, Plaza. Almost every single one of these are 3-lane maps. So why are these so good that people are sick of 3 lanes? Because they're tired of aggressively 3-lane maps. Not 3 lanes, but 3 funnels. This trend began to happen around the Black Ops 2 to Black Ops 3 transition. It's a 3 funnel map that forces you down a narrow corridor that you have very little room to maneuver in and very little cover to take, well, cover behind. It's just 2 sight lines barreling down on each other. Let's take Black Ops 4, which is what I would call the biggest offender. Hacienda, look at the middle section. Long corridors with almost no cover and easy sight lines. It's one guy behind one spot shooting at one guy behind the other spot the entire game. And good luck trying to use the middle when both opposite sections can take you down from above. Gridlock is a rough one. The middle, no room to maneuver, a big death funnel in one straight direction. Arsenal, I don't mind this map that much, but come on, this spot is a funnel, not a lane. Now let's look at High Rise. All right, definitely a straight line on this side, but lots of barrels for cover and a building you could scale and a crane you can make your way up to. The center is full of lower areas that you can move through and skirt between with tunnels and different pathways, plus a landing pad for verticality and the ability to run in between the lanes to get out of bad situations. Sure, I might be spawn trapped by XXX Epstein didn't kill himself, got him, and his chopper gunner, but when it came to the map, these were lanes, not funnels. A few places you can get shot from, but not too many, and the ability to move through them. You can move through the map and you weren't forced down a corridor. You were not railroaded. Favela is another example, and a weird one too. On paper, you feel like you should be shot from literally anywhere, but when you play it, it's quite different. The lanes feel more like invisible boundaries. Buildings create cover. If you want to shoot someone from a rooftop, you are exposing yourself heavily, and you can't shoot across the map. You need to be basically next to the person on the ground in order to snag a kill from up above. This moves players into the various areas, and you're always at risk of being popped if you are above for too long. But it still isn't a funnel. Buildings and rooms give way to new areas of the map to keep it from being too narrow. These are just a few examples of why 3-lane maps are fine. Having that controlled chaos makes a good map. 3 funnel maps are the problem. So when you get rid of 3 lanes and you add 16 open windows, there's a problem. When I can be cross-mapped by 7 separate M4s from twice as many windows, there's a problem. You die fast in this COD. I'm talking depressed art major fast. So I don't have time to check 16 different angles for an enemy mounting their gun ready to kill me. I need 3 to 4 or 5 angles that I can predict. Controlled chaos. You remember COD Ghosts? Yeah, Ghosts tried to go against the 3-lane formula. Do you remember many maps from Ghosts? Oh yes, Whiteout. Or how about Overlord? Do you remember the treasure that was Stonehaven? Or Flooded? I can applaud trying something new, I really can. Even though people shit on Advanced Warfare, I will always applaud them for trying to innovate with varying degrees of success. I understand the attempt, but innovation only works if it, well, works. And this new map, Shooty McShoothouse, it's a 3-lane map and it's the best map in the game, next to Hackney Yard and Gunrunner, 2 also 3-lane maps, just to back up my point. So with weapon balance, claymores and maps out of the way, what's next? Well, I can touch on netcode a bit. I play David Bowie's Starman quite a bit actually, and I've grown to like the sci-fi shooter for what it is. Setting doesn't make a game bad, and I've grown to enjoy it, but one of the things I really enjoy is the hit detection in the netcode. It is butter. Pure, lightly salted butter. They got it right once, but MW doesn't share that. It could soon, however. But that I die in one shot but take forever to kill someone feeling, yep, that's netcode, or lag compensation. I definitely feel that hitting me more than expected, and it is sure making me feel like I'm dying way faster than I should. This could be fixed in the future, so I won't get too into it, but it definitely hurts. What I will get into is that deep, deep stuff. If the gameplay is the meat, this is the cow that keeps the meat flowing. I don't know about you, but when the guy with the black pepper over my salad is going at it, I don't tell him to stop, because I love the grind. Grinding out calling cards is one of my favorite pastimes. MW2 has this in spades. 500 kills, 250 headshots, 2,500 kills, 1,000 headshots. God damn it, am I gonna get that gold skull calling card even if it kills me? Black Ops 4 gave me a goal, Cyberpunk Chicks. So you know I completed that wild card challenge as fast as I possibly could. Infinite Warfare, that's my shit. Earn and grind and earn and grind and don't stop. What do you got for me, Modern Warfare? Ah, I see. So I can't earn specific titles unless I do the missions for them. And the missions require multiple challenges beforehand to unlock said titles. Also, daily challenges give titles and emblems, but if I'm away for work that day or the challenge is glitched, which is very common, am I just tough luck? Suck my dick, no calling card for you? Also, what about the titles that you're supposed to get from getting a whole bunch of level ups or grinding out certain things, getting very difficult to earn titles? Whatever happened to the titles that you would get from collections, where you finish off 20 different score streak things or support things, and then you get a special animated one that goes along the bottom of it? Where's my ability to project my insecurities and show off my giant Call of Duty penis? Also, what is this organization system? Just a straight up jumble of the epics first, and that's really it? Where's this system where you can clearly see a theme that each set is going for and easily place each of them on with no issues? It's just not a good way to maneuver the menus. When you finish guns, when you finish camos, and when you finish prestige, you have one thing left: challenges and their associated calling cards. Infinity Ward's last game, Infinite Warfare, did this magnificently. It is the best one out of all the games. There is so much to earn, so much to do, and they look amazing. Unfortunately here, that reward is gone, and I seriously miss it like a goddamn dog misses his nuts. Now I was in the Boy Scouts for a while, actually long part of my life. I got Eagle Scout when I was 15. So there's two things I know: it's selling overpriced popcorn and camping. Now camping is nothing new to Call of Duty. In fact, I'd argue camping is a completely legitimate, if annoying, playstyle that absolutely has its place in the game. The problem is in camping's inherent design. Campers will only succeed when people aren't camping. If everyone camps, the game goes to a screeching halt and any form of fast motion playstyle is dropped. This wouldn't be a problem if one thing was changed. But remember that one thing we all like to repress? High school? I'm sure you did a science project where there was a control group. You know how you only got to alter one thing at a time to see how that would adjust the control group on a whole level? Well, when the maps become 16 lanes and 40 windows, when mounting is a portable recoilless head glitch simulator, when you no longer show up on the mini map from firing, when the time to kill is very short, when your movement speed is slower, when the spawn sends you to the back of the map, when kill streaks replace score streaks, when the ADS time is slower, when super sprinting causes your ADS time to be slower, when character models are hard to see, then yeah, Chief, I'm sorry, but you're gonna get a lot of goddamn Boy Scouts. You can change 1 or 2 things to see the impact, not 12. Of course people are gonna camp. People sweat. That's the nature of the game. They will have M4s, overkill 725s, claymores with shrapnel and ghost, sitting in a corner listening to footsteps because why the hell wouldn't they? Camping as a playstyle is inherently flawed, but it should be a playstyle that some people can do if they like being low-key. But when the ex-Widowmaker main on 20 pills of Adderall hooked up to an IV of Monster Energy Ultra, that goddamn boomer, is sitting in the map corner, there's a problem. So, how do I want to fix Modern Warfare? What should be fixed? Let's start with the Claymore problem. Delayed explosion to allow for strategic backing up so long as you see it. If you run in there guns blazing and you don't know, you blow up and you die, unless you're running EOD. Shooting doesn't kill you anymore, which is nice, but it's not quite enough, especially when shrapnel delays health regeneration. If people want AoE mines, they can just use the frisbees. Allow me to trip it and then back up so I don't get killed. Spawns. Be less hesitant to flip the spawns and spawn me closer to the center of the map. It's basically like pulling teeth trying to get the spawns to flip, but honestly, I just want to spawn closer to the enemy. Sure, there's a higher chance of spawn kills, but that's already happening. Increase the speed of the game by spawning closer to enemies so long as you're still in cover is a pretty damn good idea, and it'll help the flow a lot. Camping. Revert the minimap change. I completely can relate to really badly wanting to stick to your guns with the change for your game. I get it. But this would solve a lot of problems. Suppressors will be good again, ghosts will be less of a crutch, and people would move around the map far more. It's only a good change. I would also include footstep audio, but that seems to be already worked on, so I'll just kind of leave that one be. Maps. Bring back 3-lane maps and be careful not to funnel. Shooty McShoot House is awesome. More things like that and some old classics wouldn't be bad either. Off the top of my head, Strike from COD 4 sounds like a great one. I would love Scrapyard as well, and I think we could do really well if we can add one of the OG smaller maps like Dome or Rust. Progression system. This will probably take time and be wishful thinking, but bring back the old challenge system. Having a wide variety of options is badass, and nothing is wrong with more customization. Also, the prestige system. Now, I played Blops 4 up to Prestige 5 or 6, or basically whenever Madagascar was added, and I never touched it again. But the new Prestige system is interesting. I have no bad feelings with it, but I'll have to see when the next season or whatever rolls around. In conclusion, Modern Warfare is a pretty good game with some very standout flaws. It accomplishes what it wants to be for the most part, and could just use some tuning with things like the gun balance and maps. Progression is in dire need of an update because it feels so bare bones in playing, and now we'll just have to wait for him. You know what I'm talking about. Activision. He's coming. He's ready. He's gonna grab you by the hips, no lube, and just